very long or far deep or whatever it is. It is flexible, but it's not very deep. So anyway, if you take your fingers and you and you insert it up in this direction, the man or what yourself or whatever, and then when you come back a little bit, the little ridgy area that you
It
feel,
feels like a potato chip.
yeah, it's
a
like
Ruffles potato chip.
yeah,
That's what
it's
they
a
call
little
it.
ridgy area that you would feel, and that's generally where it is.
Wait a minute. So you take your two fingers, you
Insert
insert
it
them,
up.
And you do like
how
a
far
come
up do you
here.
go?
Yeah,
It's on the
that's
ceiling.
exactly right.
It's on the
Right.
ceiling
So it's
of
not
the
very
vagina.
far. Like,
Yeah.
it's not very far when you put your finger in there.
They
and
say the
and you
second
kind of
knuckle.
can, yeah, and then like
That's
on
really
your way
red.
out, and you can kind of
Hook on
hook
it.
on
Yeah.
something. That's what you're
Yeah.
feeling.
You do
And
like
it
the
feels
come
like that.
here motion,
Yeah.
like up in there, like that. There.
And that's
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it is a very small area, and I've read a lot about it too, because not very far into the vagina is the most sensitive place
Yes,
of all.
absolutely.
As you go
Absolutely.
deeper, that is so that's just for the force of it, but for
Right.
the sensitivity of it, it's very very not
Yeah.
very far in, like, as you're
Yeah,
saying.
you go
Yeah.
right in and
So
just
if you're
pull
using
right
a
to
toy,
the top.
You don't want to be touching your you don't want to be touching the backboard.
Okay.
You want to be right around.
And yeah, you want to be close to the opening
Yeah.
So you insert in, take the two fingers. Okay, yeah.
and
yeah,
you
I
say
think
come in, and it feels like I said, it has ridges on it. You know, yeah.
He
I
is
think-
a student.
I
Or
told
like
you,
if you're
I've
riding
been
your
learning.
man, like I like to be on top, especially with my friend, because he's well
Well
endowed.
endowed.
Yeah. And so, but if I'm on top and I can just get kind of like the head in, and I can just kind of be like that, just that little area, and then the position and how you're holding, like, you will get all that.
I
So
think
you
that's
don't have to go
why
very
a lot
far.
of women like the doggy style position, because the head, for some reason, rubs right on that G spot. And that's why a lot of girls, to me, they flip over and want you to hit it from the back, because your penis will actually rub that G spot, and man, it drives them crazy.
Dr. Carroll.
That voice.
I second everything.
Second it.
It's like everyone is already saying the textbook part of it, so I'm just gonna second the whole conversation.
So take your two fingers, ladies, if you want to find your
Yes.
G spot. Insert them not all the way in, and go to the top of your vagina.
Yes.
Yeah, the ceiling.
So like this.
Can
Say this
everybody
is your
see on
vagina.
camera?
Hopefully your vagina hole is not that big.
Hot dog down the
Had
hallway,
a couple kids, it might be.
driving a semi in that thing.
Your Kegels. Okay, so if you are having to do this yourself, this is your vagina, and you put your fingers.
Look at DJ.
Hey, come on with it. Come on with it.
So this is your vagina, and you have your
To
fingers
your first
in there.
knuckle, right to the knuckle.
Yep. And then you just kind of,
Rub
in
up on
this,
it.
like this.
And it's very durable. You can like beat on that thing, and it can handle it.
Okay.
And that's
So men-
actually
Practice makes perfect.
that's
y'all.
actually what is the main number one source to allow or to help a woman squirt is G spot stimulation, and the G spot is connected to what they call as a Skene gland. That is spelled Skene. The Skene gland shares the urethra, so that's why a lot of women, they have that sensation that they have to pee. Is because their G spot is getting stimulated, and once that G spot gets stimulated, that Skene gland starts to fill up with fluid. Once it starts to fill up with fluid, they have a sensation that they have to pee, and then all of a sudden they squirt everywhere. If they push it out, they can squirt, But a lot of women get nervous. They think there's urine, and they clench it off, and then they don't get a chance to actually experience the female ejaculation.
So ladies, does size matter?
Boy.
I'm going to let y'all answer that question first.
And for those of you that are listening and you would like to chime in, please let us know, ladies. Does size matter?
Who want to go first? Do you want go ahead and go first, T?
Has to be a question for the ladies because us men, y'all the only ones that hold the truth to this question here.
Okay. Well, let our ladies go first.
Yep. I would say theoretically, no. I have never personally had that experience, so I can't comment on that. But far as what I do know, I would say no, because if we are like a lot of the questions that we have asked have that intimacy level, and we are already sexually aroused beforehand, it doesn't really matter what the size is. And if we look at it from a perspective of a lesbian relationship, they don't have to have any intercourse in order for them to have the best orgasm that they can. And remember when we was kids, we was always like, well, let me just finger you, let me just right. Y'all didn't have that when y'all was in high school? Okay.
Let me just put my fingers in there.
So with that being
y'all were bad.
No.
Let me put my fingers in there.
So we just go all the way back to those situations.
I'll see you, E. I'll see you over there, E.
So just going back to those situations, remember when we had those high school conversations, we was already really aroused because we just didn't know what to do. We just wanted to feel something. We was already up at a peak, and it worked for us, right? So I don't know where we lost that version way of thinking when it came to sex and arousal. So to answer that question, no, I don't think that size matters if you are already sexually aroused before you guys start having sex in the first place. And we need to get back to that and making sure that we're aroused before we have sex, because I know a lot of people who jump straight into sex and wasn't even ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, I done heard stories of I had to get him ready when we was about to have sex, or even with women, if the man is ready and we're just not, we washing clothes or something, we just getting the other person off. So if we go back into that arousal piece and intimacy, no.
Okay. Nikki?
I'm really thinking about this.
Be honest, because to each his own.
For me, I don't know. I mean, I like. Yeah, you did. I'm
so
okay.
Does size matter to you?
To you.
To be honest.
Huh?
Oh, it wasn't.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Lord. Okay.
I almost put her business out there in the street. I'm sorry.
Does size really matter?
Yeah. Okay, I see it.
Okay, well, yeah. Let's say.
Right, that's right. I said hypothetically overall, does size matter?
I think for most people,
only way I can answer is from a personal standpoint.
Because it's to each his own.
For me, size matters. I don't want to sound shallow, but I'm not sharing with everyone, so I guess. But for me, size matters. For a lot of people, women that, in conversation, I think it does. That's not to leave anybody out. So if you do have us operating with a small penis, there's still hope, because there's other things that you could do. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying.
We have to define small too, though.
Right.
I mean, right? We really do.
Well, you really,
because then that becomes preference. But then, I mean, I would say that I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're
that
fine.
was rude. But I do think that I think I think there is a what's the word I'm looking for? A threshold for like small, like where it's just not operational.
Honestly, as long as it can get in there and play around with that G spot, then you're good. You know what I mean? You'll get things going. But I don't want to feel like, I'm filling it up here. Ooh. But I don't want to be like, did anything happen? Like, was you there? You know what I mean? So for me, I'm going to say it does, because I like to have something to work with. You know what I mean? I like to be on top, and I like to, I don't want to be on top and then
they keep slipping
I'm just, like we might as well just put our clothes back on and just hump on each other. You know what I mean?
I mean, are we gonna be real
well,
here? Or
I'm gonna be real,
with?
and that's what I've always. Anybody, even when I was on the Conversation Lounge, I always had this thing. To me, size matters. There's 2 types of peewees I won't do. Right? I won't do long and skinny. And I just won't, because I'm feeling like you poking the mess out. That's torture. I won't do long and skinny, and I won't do short and skinny. Right. I mean, you got to have some. You could be average, but you need some girth. For me, I know I need girth. I can't do just no skinny penis. It's just not gonna work. And I've been, I've been with guys who, I'm not gonna say guys, but I've been with somebody who I was like, "What are you doing?" I mean, while we having sex, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't feel. I mean, he going to town, cussing and everything, and I'm saying like, what are you feeling? Because I am not feeling nothing, and so for me, I know you were saying when we go back to orgasms from a theoretical standpoint, it should not matter because we should be able to peak without that physical penetration, but from just a pleasure standpoint, and we talking about preference. I can't do no little Peter, and that's a deal breaker for me in terms of getting married. If my husband, I'm not gonna say my husband, if whoever, if he got a little Peter, I'm not gonna be able to do it. So we're not gonna be able to get married.
Let's just go back to sexual health because I hear. Remember, I was telling you guys about this over the phone. Is that we still continue as women put a lot of the responsibility on the male, and we have to also think about ourselves. If you had 6 kids. See, and you just think that your walls are just super loose, and now you're saying that someone is too skinny for you when they really are really not skinny. It's just the fact that you're loose and haven't decided to do your sexual health. I still think that's not fair, because I know too many people who just popping babies out or just. Every time they have sex, going hard, like it's no tomorrow, because that do stretch you out, people. That stretches you out if you getting beat down every time and think it's cute.
Well, see, I ain't had no children, and I'm not getting beat down every time. So for me, that's why I got that pressure.
We go back to one of these.
I just want to make sure,
my walls are very tired.
We're having a general conversation here with So I just want to make that awareness as well. So we can't just, make it one-sided when it comes to size and girth and things like that. We have not, as women, taken our sexual health and made sure. I know a lot of people, they don't even take baths. They only do showers. Not understanding the importance of why you should take a bath every now and then.
And why is that? Go ahead and break that down for us.
Let's give that to the doula, because she would know.
Because I soak that thing.
Go ahead. Back in the old days, our mothers and stuff like that made sure they got in the tub and soaked it. You heard that put some what they usually put in the water.
Some vinegar in there, some baking soda in there.
And you was wondering what that long thing was that was hanging up in the bathroom. We got away from that. They had 16 kids and still was good because they took care of their sexual situation. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't never hear or you would probably wouldn't think that our fathers or anything like that would say, oh, they didn't know. They, just like the eggs and stuff like that. We have to do those things, because if we don't, and we have this marriage, because after a while, the one that you thought had, what you thought they had, after a while probably ain't gonna do it for you either if you haven't did anything to help yourself. And I've seen a lot of relationships fail that way as well. Like, all of a sudden I can't, sex is bad. Okay, what did both of you guys do to make sure that your sexual health was going to be so your relationship could last? So when we talk about intimacy and sex, we have to look at also the long-term relationships that people have that sometimes deteriorate because of sex. So I just want to put that out there while we're talking about
it matters to
size and things like that.
It's from a male's perspective. I know a lot of men are self-conscious about their size and if they're going to please a woman or not. You know, are they going to be able to reach? Okay, so there is a thing that we're not going. I don't really know the technical term for it, but it's called a second vagina. Okay,